Oh boy, it's always a very, very, very fun time when my two favorite teams play against each other. I don't think I've screamed at one individual hockey game so much, but that is what we have here. I was cheering for every goal, I was cheering for every save, I was cheering for every missed opportunity, and almost ripping my eyes out when the better team was not executing properly. Now, I do like both of these teams, but coming into tonight, I was like, okay, I'm a fan of the Canucks, I know what they're up to, I know what their direction is, I know what I want this team to accomplish. I want Vancouver to come in here, I think they're going to win this game. Now for the Montreal Canadiens, they're in a position where I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. They're in a position where they just sold off Scandella, Thompson, Cousins, a whole bunch of depth guys that you can say what you want about how good they are. They genuinely make this team better and harder to play against on the more depth lineup roles. So I was looking at this game and I was saying, yeah, you know, I'd be okay with the Habs loss. I want an unintentional tank. I don't want to say a tank straight up because that implies the team will blow away all their assets with the intention of losing. But we know that's not what Marc Bergevin wanted to do this year. Although I will say that because I don't believe the Habs are good enough to make the playoffs, I want a higher draft pick. So the team that has the most picks in the draft and that has the draft held in their own city is going to get a bigger pop once they choose their guy. That was my perception going in. I was saying, okay, they are probably going to lose, right? Vancouver has been hot. Vancouver has kind of gotten better ever since that Toffoli trade. And the Habs, they just lost Covey, they just lost Cousins, they lost all those guys, etc. So let's aim for a Vancouver win. That is not what it looked like we were going to get in the first 5 minutes of the game, because Byron comes in and he scores off of a really weird play. Domi has it on the half boards, he tries to chip it to the middle, but Hughes blocks it. It goes back to Domi and Hughes is kind of confused. Then Domi takes it, he throws it to the middle, it's off of Pettersson, and Byron is there to score. Off of some really weird bounces over there, the Vancouver Canucks are down by 1, and then all of a sudden, a few minutes later, it's Tatar and Danault who set up Weber at the point. You have a JT Miller who's ready to block that point blank, but Weber fakes the shot. But Miller doesn't move. Weber then kind of just looks towards the goal, he's holding the puck up in shooting position, Miller is not moving, and then Weber is like, yeah, okay, I'll shoot it to the far side where Miller is not blocking, and then he gets it by Thatcher Demko. That's 2 goals to start off the game, and it's very, very evident that the Vancouver Canucks are kind of shaken up. So what does Travis Green do? He does the right thing right there. Takes a timeout, calms the team down. Thatcher Demko just let in 2 goals in 7 minutes of play. It's not looking great. But the Vancouver Canucks are eventually able to come back and regain themselves after that. Because give it a few minutes and the Vancouver Canucks get themselves a power play. Now, I was taking a look at this like, okay, the Canucks power play has been on and off sometimes this year, but this is a time where they need to be on. The Habs, they lost Scandella. They lost Thompson. This PK unit, which wasn't super great already, has just gotten worse. This Canucks power play needs to go out there and do some damage, and that's exactly what they did. Horvat wins the draw. Hughes goes to Miller. Miller back to Horvat. He shoots. He scores right through and up into the top corner over Carey Price. And I was like, wow, that one didn't take long at all. So the Canucks power play is 1 for 1 in this game so far. Horvat has his 20th goal in the year, Miller with his 39th assist, Quinn Hughes with his 42nd assist. Quinn Hughes is now up to 50 points on the year. Good golly gee, he's been amazing. How the heck could anybody have expected this from Quinn Hughes? 42 assists in however many games played it has been. 62, I believe, and now it's 2-1 Montreal at the end of the first period. I will say, though, the Vancouver Canucks started to pick up the pace towards the end of that first frame. For me, it was kind of bittersweet, seeing 2 of my favorite teams going at it, one of the teams doing really well, and the other one kind of getting hemmed into their zone. The Canucks had chances, the Canucks had opportunities, but the Canucks only got 1 on the power play. And starting off the second period, that momentum carried over quite fondly. It's Adam Gaudette who chips the puck into the Montreal zone. Jake Virtanen swoops in to get it, and he feeds the point for Alex Edler. He takes a shot, and it goes through 4 guys and then Carey Price to tie the game up at 2 apiece, and that's all the scoring we had there in the second. Now, Jordan Weal gets himself a goal to start things off in the third. It's his 7th on the year. It's 50 seconds into the period. Max Domi over there getting the nice assist on that one. Domi, by the way, absolute pest this entire game. I like watching Habs games, and I like saying to myself, yeah, Domi is darn good. But as a dude who also likes the other team as well, I really saw the hatred for Max Domi come to fruition once in a while. Domi with a few cross-checks here and there, Domi with a few really just absurdly annoying plays. I was sitting here like, oh boy, he's really pissing me off. But it still makes me happy to see that, because as the Habs fan within me says, yeah, Domi's gonna do that. But the third period goes on, and the Vancouver Canucks get their chances, and they start laying it on. Absolutely laying it on. Jake Virtanen gets himself a power play goal, and this is the second power play of the night for the Vancouver Canucks. I was saying to myself, once this power play started, okay, they're 1 for 1, time to build on that momentum. I still don't have faith in this Habs penalty kill to be good, so the Vancouver Canucks, if there's a time to strike, it's time to strike now, and Jake Virtanen does that, assisted by Gaudette and Tyler Myers. Gaudette with his 2nd assist on the night. The Habs fan inside me was pretty pissed off. Because the Habs fan inside me, although I like seeing the team lose now because I want that higher draft pick, I was still saying to myself, okay, the playoffs are not super far away. If the Habs still wanted to go for it, that does exist within the realm of possibility. It's just that I personally don't believe it's going to happen. Carey Price, man, you can't be letting up those softies. It goes off of the inside of his glove, pops over his shoulder, and bounces into the net. If you're going to make the playoffs, Price can't be allowing goals like that. Sorry, that was a soft one. I love Shotgun Jake. I love what Virtanen has done this year. He's at 18 goals, but the guy shouldn't have scored that one. Price has to make that save. See, this is where the dualism comes to play, the duality of the situation, the fact that I like both teams. After this goal, though, once it was 3-3, both of these teams had their chances to tie it, and Vancouver had so many more. First off, it was Elias Pettersson. That Miller-Toffoli PD line comes out there against the Habs' 4th line. I was pissed off to see that. Julianne, what are you doing? Why is the 4th line out there against one of the best lines that has been assembled in the past few weeks? But regardless, it's Petey, Miller, Toffoli, cycling it around. It's Sedin 2011 era right here. There's an open net for Elias Pettersson as he gets the cross-crease pass, but he falls down and he whiffs on it. Oh my goodness, that could have been the game-winning goal. And then a few seconds later, the Vancouver Canucks set it up all once again. It's a few tic-tac-toes. Price is down. It's out to Beagle in the slot. He shoots, and oh no, he whiffed on it too. That could have been the game-winning goal. Pettersson and Beagle both whiffing on it within the span of like 3 or 4 minutes. This game could have been over so quickly, but it doesn't happen. And I saw people giving Beagle flack on Twitter for this. But hey, if you're going to give Beagle flack for that, give Pettersson the same flack, because he kind of did the same thing. Obviously, you expect more out of one than the other, but still. They both kind of whiffed on it. The game could have been over there, but we go to overtime. And overtime comes over, and the Vancouver Canucks do everything. Quinn Hughes passes it back. He almost throws it into his own net, but Demko was there to stop it. Pettersson comes up. Quinn Hughes does a few razzle-dazzle moves out there in the offensive zone. He tries to score himself, feed it into the slot, but I think it was blocked, even though Carey Price was down and out for the count. But the Canucks are able to maintain possession. The only time the Habs touch it in overtime is when they lob it out to the blue line, but it's kept in by the guy who stayed out there on the ice. The Vancouver Canucks eventually then get Horvat out there. He sends it over to Toffoli. Toffoli back to Horvat, back to Toffoli. It's a tic-tac-toe goal. Price is down and out, and the Canucks take this one 4-3 in overtime. In a game where coming in I was like, Vancouver better win, and Montreal better lose. This fuels the tank, ladies and gentlemen, for Montreal, and I know it's not an intentional one, but I would very much like it if the Canadiens got a better draft pick. And as for the Canucks, well, they're pushing for the playoffs, and they overtake Edmonton for second place in the Pacific Division. It's 74 points, and the Vancouver Canucks are back in there. I just can't believe Tyler Toffoli, man. The guy is so good. He meshes so well with this Petey Miller line. It's like Sedin's all over again. The cycle, the ringing around the boards, the no-look back passes, the cross-crease passes. This line is killer. I love me some Brock Besser. But boy oh boy, Tyler Toffoli has been something else. No disrespect to Brock, I can't wait till he returns, but my oh my, I love this line. It got some damage done today, and the Vancouver Canucks, being outshot 40-34, they get themselves the win. The Habs put in a good effort, but overall I feel like the Habs and their bite wasn't necessarily there. A lot of their shots came from the perimeter, a lot of their opportunities came from outside. But when the Habs were on, they were on, and they had some really good opportunities that were just shut down quickly by either Thatcher Demko or the Canuck in front who just checked the guy. Cough, cough, Jonathan Drouin. But that kind of wraps things up here. Hope you enjoyed this video. Social Tyler 99, and bye.